Thanks for joining me today. This is Danny and welcome back to my modded 1.10.2 series. Today we are going to pick up right where we left off in the last episode. In fact, I haven't even left. I am standing here in the same spot that I ended in. We're going to continue with RFTools dimensions and we're going to start making some custom dimlets and making some more interesting dimensions. It's time to make our first material dimlet. So in order to make a material dimlet, we're going to need a material absorber, and that's some wool and these things. And we're going to place that on top of whatever it is that we want, whatever type of material that we want to make. In this case, I want to make a dimensional shard dimlet because that's the main thing that I want right now from my mining, because we've got tons of everything else. What we're going to do with this guy is we're going to set it on top of a dimensional shard ore, and it's going to absorb that ore along with all the other ore that it finds in the area. I'm not exactly sure what the exact range is, but we'll find out in a second here because I'm just going to set up a ton of these. In fact, we'll just use the builder's wand. We'll just put make a big huge block of these things. Okay, so that's all of them. So we just set this guy up here. It's probably going to need more than this. I think it needs about 2 stacks. So we'll see what happens. So you can see it's absorbing all the stuff. And it's showing us, Wayla is showing us that it's 53%. So yeah, it needs about 2 stacks because that was a little over a stack and we're now at 53%. While we're waiting for that to happen, let's get the rest of the pieces that we need for this. Let's hope we have the rest of the pieces that we need for this. So actually, let's just put these back. Why do we have more than one? Oh, they're all the same. Okay, interesting. So of course we need the base. We only need one. We need, oh boy, rarity of 5. Do we even have that? We do. Okay, I have a feeling this is going to be really expensive. And then we need, yeah, it is going to be expensive because we need the advanced energy module. So that tells us right away that this is going to take a lot of power. And then we need the advanced, oh, we don't have one. This guy, we need the advanced memory unit. So we're going to have to try to acquire one of those first. And then we need material type controller. We've got lots of those. And then we need that thing that we're producing out there right now. So in the meantime, we're going to make a machine infuser. We don't really have very many dimensional shards at the moment, but whoops. But it'll help a little bit. So when we break our dimlets apart in our dimlet workbench, we lose a lot of the stuff. There's a 40% chance that we're going to lose each type of or each part. So it's going to extract all the parts of a dimlet. So like for instance, if we had this Alps biome, it would try to get all 5 of those parts. But we have a 40% chance of losing each one, which means we're going to end up getting about 60% of them. But if we infuse this machine, if we infuse it 100%, we'll get everything. However, we don't have enough to infuse it 100% at the moment. But we can infuse it. Let's see, how much can we infuse it? We're going to put that there. And we're going to break this machine. Oh, that machine had a lot of inventory in it. I sure hope that it keeps the inventory when we do this, because that would really suck if we lost all that stuff. But we're going to put about a stack. We have almost a stack. And we're going to see it's probably going to infuse it like 25%, if even that. But that's better than nothing. So then we won't lose quite as many of our dimlet parts, or whatever we want to call them. Yep, 24%. Okay, yay, we still have all our stuff. All right, because I have, let's see. I have a rare dimlet here. Let's see what we can get. Oh, it's going to be hard to tell what we're getting because we've already got all this stuff. Haha, look at that. That is exactly what we need right there. First try. Woohoo! I think this is going to be it. Oh crap. What? Not enough energy? Where's my battery? I must have left it in the, whoops. Okay, anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay! We are now 100%. It says block dimensional shard ore 100%. So now we can break this guy. And it's totally, and now I have another one with me. It's a time absorber. Actually, this one I'm going to bring a little closer to our operations. And the way this guy works is you give it a redstone at about the time of day that you want to make a dimlet for. And in my case, I want to do a noon dimlet. So we'll have a button ready. And then every day at about noon, we're going to press that button. We're going to have to do that about 10 times. So I'll have to try to pay attention to the time. All right. How are we doing here? Dun-dun-dun-dum. Hooray! The maintenance cost is 10,000 RF per tick. Wow. That's insane. We're not going to make a world out of this thing, though. So it might not be quite that expensive. We might be able to get away with just making orbs or something out of it. Huge orbs. We could do huge orbs. Or regular orbs. Let's see, that's 100 RF per tick. Yeah, they're the same. So let's try this. So this would modify our orbs. So we put it before the orbs. So we have dimensional shard or orbs. Besides that, I would like everything else to be fairly normal, which means we might have to make some more dimlets. I'm going to be leaving a lot to chance once again. So I've got material dimlet. Oh, wait. Terrain dimlet, flat. Liquid water, material stone. Dimensional shard, orbs. Let's see what we get. 18,000 RF per tick. This thing can't even output 18,000 RF per tick. And actually, this guy right now is sucking 126 RF per tick. And like I said before, the dimensions are going to suck power whether we're there or not. So we're going to want an activity probe. Or two. Let's just make 2 of these right away. I'm going to put 1 in this dimension. And all we do is we set it somewhere in the dimension, and it will basically make the dimension not take power if nothing's going on here. If there's no players here and there are no chunk loaders, if there is a chunk loader, can we? Yeah, so we'll have to break this chunk loader for now. And actually, I'm just going to bring it with me. And we'll have to remember to set it out again if we pick up our quarry here again. Oh, you know what? We're going to want this stuff in our new dimension. But that we're going to leave here. Oh. Nope. We are not going to want our matter receiver. That needs to stay here. Otherwise, we will have no way to get back here. We're going to make another dimension builder. And I'm going to bring it into our power plant. Because this thing's going to need power. It's going to need crazy amounts of power. So I'm just going to go right into our, let's see, let's just blink in here. Hopefully there's no radiation in here. There probably is, because I'm sure this thing's been running. 4.52% left. We've got 1 in here, and we're getting like, what, almost 15,000 RF per tick. This one's going to be even more. So we're going to switch this to output. I'm going to put our dimension builder here. It can get up to 5,000 RF per tick from this thing. But that's it. Because that's all this thing is capable of outputting. Oh boy. Uh-oh, we better get out of here. We need radiation suits. We've got about a little over 15,000 RF per tick that can get pumped into this thing right now. As we're creating the dimension, it's going to be taking 73,000 RF per tick, which basically that's the maximum. It's just going to run kind of slow. It's going to take a long time to make this dimension. And then when it's done making it, then we'll really see what the maintenance cost is. It might not end up being 18,000 RF per tick, but we'll see. Ooh, I remembered. Finally, it's been like 3 days and I haven't pressed this button yet. Wow. It's taking 18,000 RF per tick. Wow. Which is more power than we can pump into it at the moment. That is unfortunate. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out. We got a red sun. Alright, so we're not going to power this dimension right now. I'm getting prepared to enter that very, very expensive dimension. One of the things I'm doing is I'm making some more crystals so that we don't run out of RF while we're there. Little tip I got from somebody in the comments. Right click and it clears everything out, so I don't have to go, you know, I don't have to hit the delete key 100 times. A nice time saver. So another thing that I would really like to make is our phased field generator. Oh. We don't have any dimensional shards. I used them all. Crap, I kind of screwed something up. I'm going to make a dimension editor. When I picked up my quarry and everything, I also picked up the matter receiver. So now I can't get back to that dimension. All right, so we can take our dimlet out. Now we can add dimlets to a world, but there's only certain types of dimlets we can add, but we can also add a matter receiver. And it will send the matter receiver and it'll stick it in the default location, like the spawn location. Okay, looks like it's done. So we'll put this guy back. Now we should see that destination again. Here it is. And it's still called Quarry of Darkness. Yay! Okay, so I put it back in the default location. So yes, we still do have a butterfly infestation in the house. I should probably get a proper door. I had a bunch of dimensional shards in here. Crap, I just went out of my way to get those dimensional shards. I did infuse both of our dimension builders so that they use a little bit less RF, so that should help a little bit too. So I want a phased field generator. What this is going to do is... Hooray, phase field generator. This guy takes RF, and basically what it does is if the dimension that we're in runs out of RF. First it starts to go dark, then we start to get nasty effects like poison or hunger, that sort of thing. I believe they're like progressive. We start out with hunger, then we get poison, and I think we could even get as much as wither. And then if the dimension totally runs out of power, we just die. Unless we have this guy. And what this guy will do is when the rest of the dimension dies and just stops, like everything just stops ticking, the animals stop moving, the mobs stop moving, and everything goes dark, but the area that we're around gets powered so that we stay alive and we get a little bit of light around us. And if we like walk up to a mob or we walk up to something, you know, a cow or whatever, or a machine even, it'll work like while we're standing right next to it. So it's actually kind of cool, but hopefully that won't happen and we won't have to deal with that. And then if this guy runs out of RF, then we die. So it just gives us a little extra buffer, and we do have to carry it in our hotbar. All right, let's do this. I've got 1 3/4 crystals here, so we should be okay. I'm gonna put this guy in here, and it's gonna start filling up its buffer. So we know we're producing more power than this dimension is taking at the moment, because our current power is going up. Sucking power out of this thing pretty quickly. Alright, let's just do this very quickly. Let's go to the dimension. I've got this in my hotbar. I've got my activity probe. Let's go to the dimension and set down the activity probe just right away. Okay, so here's our special dimension that's costing us millions and millions of RF. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And oh my god. Alright, I'm just going to grab a bunch of these really quickly. Let's put our haste thing on, and just a little cheat trick. RFTools, dim, dimension monitor. Oh boy. So we can see how much power we have in the dimension. I'll craft one of those. We can hold it in our bar, but I've got haste on this thing, or I've got, what the? I've got some block leg here, which kind of sucks considering, oh come on man, hurry up here. Oh, this is a beautiful dimension. I love that purple sky, that is so cool. I actually decided to go with an Actual Editions pickaxe. This is the Emerald or Emeradic Crystal pickaxe. I believe it's one of the top tier ones for Actual Editions. And then I cranked it up with Efficiency 5 and Fortune 3. And Mending. So we don't have to worry about it dying on us. Boy, these are huge orbs. I probably could have got away with the smaller orbs. I wonder if it would have cost less. I mean, if we harvested one of these orbs with our builder, that would be insane, except that it would require a lot of power. So we're already kind of pushing the limits of power right now. What is that? It's like an igloo. It is an igloo. It's like a, what the heck? Hard to say whether this is faster, whether it would be just faster to use our drill, because the drill would do 9x9. I mean a 3x3, and then of course we've also got our SciCAD to do 3x3 as well. Really considering the abundance of resources here, we probably don't really need fortune. Alright, I'm done here for now. I sent a ton of dimensional shards back home just from this one orb. Like, yeah, I probably could have gotten away with doing something a little bit less extreme than this, but that's okay. Now we have a place to go back for dimensional shards. And you know what? Let's check out this igloo. Got a furnace. It'd be nice to find one of these like really early in game, except that I hate spawning in cold biomes. And we've got our villagers down here. We've got the priest and then the priest zombie villager, and we have everything that we need to cure it right here. Nice. Oh, we should see this guy is filling up with RF now, because we put the activity probe in there. There's no it's not using any power right now, so it's just going to fill up its buffer. I wonder why that's not making any noise. It'll fill up its buffer, and then this thing will stop running. How are we doing here? 58%. We still have our next crystal, so I didn't even need to do all that. So let's see what our winnings are. 3,553 dimensional shards. Woohoo! Wow. We can infuse all our machines now. So I didn't mention this before, but the machine infuser allows us to pump dimensional shards into a machine, thus infusing it and making it more efficient and sometimes giving it little bonuses. That works with all RFTools machines, basically. So just to make our build a little bit uglier here, I've got the refined storage exporter, and I'm going to be piping dimensional shards into this thing, then that way it'll just always be full. Whoops. Hooray! So now I've got my 2 coal generators from RFTools. We'll infuse these guys. It'll make them more efficient, and it should make them produce more RF per tick. Right now they produce 60 RF per tick. Let's grab some speed. Maybe just one will do. Okay, let's see what this does for us. 120 RF per tick. Hooray! Nice! So So we just doubled. We got another 120 between the two of them. And of course, and if you shift over the item, like, actually I've got the other one still in the infuser. If you shift over it, it'll tell you infusing bonus, more power generation, and lasts longer on single fuel. So right now it's producing 60 RF per tick. After we infuse it, it'll be 120 RF per tick. And more efficient, so it'll use less fuel. This guy, our little time absorber, is down to 30%. And that is because I gave it a redstone signal in the evening because I couldn't see where the sun was. So you actually lose progress if you do it at the wrong time of day. And I mean, there's kind of a purpose of that too, that if we started absorbing noon and then later we decided, you know what, I don't want it to be noon, I want it to be evening, you could start absorbing evening and then it'll lose progress, get down to 0%, and then it should start making progress on evening. We've got a decent mining dimension. We have a decent dimension for getting dimensional shards. Actually, we have an incredible dimension for getting dimensional shards. I'm going to make one more dimension today, and I'm going to try to control as much as I possibly can and leave as little as possible to chance. And this dimension is basically just going to be a fun dimension for exploring and such. Here's what I've got so far. We're doing an amplified terrain, normal time. I would like to do noon, but this is taking so long, and I don't want to wait. And actually, I want to use that for my mining dimension anyway, because my mining dimension is midnight all the time, which kind of sucks. Although it would be easier once we get a dimension that's noon all the time, it'll be easier to absorb the time in that dimension. Then we can just set this thing up and give it a redstone signal forever. And let's see, what else do I got here? Canyons, just for fun, and large sun, cyan fog, jungle temples, no rain. I happen to have this dimlet, so I'm going to use it. And default mobs. Now it says this dimlet is blacklisted. For the mob controller, I have magical. Now I really want a filtered mob controller, and I can't seem to make it in the workbench. I don't know what the deal is with the workbench, but all of the dimlets that don't require a essence of some kind, I can't craft them in here. It just doesn't do anything. So I don't know what you're supposed to put there. You have to give it stone, and you have to give it a liquid. Otherwise, it'll come up randomly with some liquid, and your oceans might end up being made out of, like, you know, molten redstone or something weird. Well, not redstone in this pack, but yeah. So that's one thing you want to do. Time. Of course, we already learned that we want to give it the time normal. Otherwise, we might end up with midnight or something weird like that. Or time that's really fast, or time that's really slow. We want to give it effect none so that we don't end up with a dimension that has like a poison effect or some other crazy effect. You could end up with a good effect, or you could add a good effect, but with all these different things, as long as you add one dimlet, it won't pick another one randomly. So let's just go ahead and make this dimension. Holy crap. Oh, okay, 241 RF per tick, that's not terrible. And I'm just going to take this one out of this one. Because it has an activity probe, it's not going to use power anyway, so that should be safe. I should have a place to put these. I'm going to put it on the wall. Just going to hang it on the wall because we have Immersive Craft, which happens to be by the same author, MCJD. Shift, middle click, there we go. That was the key binding that I gave it. Alright, that's done. So let's do a shift right click right away just to make sure that nothing's going to happen that we're not expecting. Now, I could have swore, did I not specify that default mob? So maybe it is true. So we can put this guy in here and we can extract it and see what we've got. So maybe it really is blacklisted. I'll have to look into that because it's not even here now. It disappeared. So crap. That sucks. So we ended up with, what did we end up with again? Freaking endermites. That sucks. And entity. So we're going to have a ton of chickens. We're going to have a ton of endermites in this. We got our large sun. Our fog color is whatever we specified. I think, was it cyan? No rain. Jungle temples, canyons, magical. So nothing else, looks like nothing else is going to jump out at us and scare us or cause problems. Ooh. How did we end up with... Oh, because we're in a crag biome. Oh, look at that. That's a magical biome. Nice. There's our endermites. So it doesn't look like there's a terribly large amount of endermites, so that's cool. Oh, this is cool. Now what is this? A roofed forest. Oh yeah, that's right. This is amplified too. So we're a crag biome, which is already somewhat amplified. So a roofed forest is somehow considered magical. That's interesting. Lavender fields. Oh, this is a really cool world. It's too bad we have the dimlet buildings. And it's too bad the sun happens to be going down, because I'd like to check it out during the day. Ominous woods. Oh, the ominous woods used to have fog when you would go in it. Oh, I really like this. We're going to play around in this dimension. Definitely. I think I may have found a potential spot for future consideration. There's like a big valley here, and it's surrounded by all the amplified stuff. But this area isn't quite as amplified, interestingly. It's a little bit flatter. And I finally saw our first temple. Our time absorber is finally done. Crazy. And I've got our dimlets workbench ready with all the other pieces that we need. And we just throw this in here. And ta-da! We now have time noon. Hooray! So let's take... No, actually, it's this one. Let's just put something else up there so that we don't lose that. So we just take this guy and we stick it in our dimension editor. This is going to increase the cost, and we cannot get this dimlet back, even if we deconstruct this dimension tab. Let's just do this. Oh, it's actually pretty fast. 146 RF per tick. Okay, that's not terrible. Let's put it in here. And we're gonna hang up our little magical dimension right there. And let's head into our newly edited dimension. That is our Quarry of Darkness. We may have to change the name of that. Oh, look at that. That's where the moon used to be all the time. Hey sheep, look at the sun. You've never seen the sun before, have you? How are we doing? Okay. Awesome. And you know what we can do now? Ooh, this has a really interesting color. I had no idea that the sky had this color because it was always dark. In the next episode, we are going to be playing with RFTools control to automate our deep resonance crystal generation and the infusing and all that whole process. We'll be able to do the entire thing with just the click of a button, which is going to be awesome. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but it might be a little bit kind of programming intensive, which is going to be a lot of fun for me and hopefully for you too. So I do hope you join me for that. Of course, if you did enjoy this, please don't forget to click the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And join me next time. Thanks for watching. Time to make our first material dimlet. So in order to make a material... Oops. Cut. It's time